¿Cómo están, amigos de Sonar? Estamos aquí con The National, acá en el Parque O'Higgins, en pleno Lollapalooza. The National se presenta este viernes a las 7 de la tarde en el escenario Itaú, uno de los platos que nos tiene más emocionados a nosotros, y por lo tanto vamos a estar hablando con Matt Berninger, vocalista, con Scott Devendorf, el bajista, y con Brian, el baterista. Los últimos dos son hermanos. Guys, thank you so much for taking time for talking with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
First of all, this is a funny anecdote. You just got interviewed by my brother, by my twin brother. You guys got twin brothers on your band.
There.
Yeah, right over there, beside the camera.
Yeah.
I wonder, and I always wonder. Están atacando la mesa de los otros de National. I wonder, how do you make it work in a band of brothers? Because you know that brothers love each other, but they also tend to argue with each other a lot. I know it, you guys know it. So how is the dynamic inside of the National?
Let me put my normal glasses on to say that. To answer that question, they don't really. I mean, they fight with each other a little bit, but it's all code talk. We've known each other for so long. I mean, like, if there's any fighting, it's usually between me and Aaron, or me and Brian, or Brian and Aaron, right? Usually, and so. No, we're all individually responsible equally, I think. Bryce and Scott usually stay out of the fray, right? A little bit, or more like, they're more like the ambassadors. But it's turned into a pretty healthy, sort of creative balance, whatever.
Yeah, and you can tell, unlike a lot of bands in the music business, you guys stayed with the same lineup for a long time. I mean, it's you guys and you two. I don't know a lot of bands. How do you make it work in all these years as a band?
I do think that the fact that those guys are brothers and that they're somehow is like been a connective tissue that has kept, like, the idea of our band sort of like breaking apart or changing members was never really even it was never even like a way of thinking of it, so I mean, obviously, yeah, go ahead, Brian.
At this point, we should mention that there are other it's over. This is the last show we're ever gonna play, that we have had for about a decade, or maybe slightly more, two band members or two members of the live show, you know what I mean? And I believe that they play funny-looking, shiny instruments. I'm told they're called brass instruments. But they also play synths, and they have wonderful voices. But I think, like, having them on board is a great help. Not just translating the songs into, a performance, but also as people. They're really fun to hang out with. We go running. There's just a nice kind of, like, family vibe,
Yeah, I got you. It's been a really long time since you guys were last here in Chile. It's been 7 years since your last presentation in Chile, right here on Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about that time? Because right then, I mean, I saw that show. I loved you guys back then, but I didn't know if the people from Chile were going to react, and I was really surprised to see a lot of people singing your songs. I want to know, what do you remember about that time?
I remember Brian. Playing particularly sloppily. No.
Well, I mean, I've said it earlier, but again, it's I feel like deja vu right now. It's a very similar kind of day, I just remember it being really relaxed. I believe we played a good show, or I felt we accomplished something, or maybe we somehow felt that there was some connection there with the audience. I don't know. And it was just great. It just felt right. And there's something about just, again, like the dry air. It's just so relaxing to me. Everyone's so nice. You say amable? Like, la gente son muy amables aquí. That's so chill. I love it. You know what I mean?
That's good, man. I'd like to talk a little bit about your new record, Sleep Well Beast. I think it's a fantastic record, and I feel that it's really personal. But all your records feel really personal. This feels particularly personal, but also feels influenced in a little bit by the political context. I don't know if this was the idea with Sleep Well Beast, with like transforming like what was happening on your lives and what was happening in the world. and putting it into the record?
I mean, well, politics and what's happening in the world are always on our minds a little bit. It's not don't go into any writing of anything with any intention, but and this time around we weren't even really thinking about politics that much. And then when Trump won, obviously that changed everything, because that was a shock, and you know, and so yeah, it mutated the record, and we reacted to that. And but some songs just were born out of that, a reaction to it, and some songs got put aside. And but again, it's like I don't know how to just make stuff without that being in the mixture. You know, it's just always on my mind. It's always on all of our minds on some level, even no matter how much you try to like avoid it. Right, particularly now, it's you can't not process it in it, and so it coming into the art in an organic way makes total sense. And artists who don't dig into it in some way, I think are just missing opportunities for art, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely correct. I'm interested because I don't know if you know this, but in 2017, for the first time ever, guitar music wasn't the most popular music in the United States. Hip hop and R&B was the most sold genres in the United States. I wonder, what's the genre of music that you guys find most fascinating right now? What's the music that inspires you right now? Because I feel that Sleep Well Beast is an album that kinda evolves the sound of the National in subtle ways, but you find these electronic sounds, you find these beats that are really interesting. I wonder, what artists do you see right now and you see these guys really great?
I mean, I do. It does seem like all the sort of the genre barriers are dissolving, you know, pretty. And so, I mean, I do think. I mean, what's the creative, musical, and lyrical things that are happening in hip hop is the most exciting. I mean, it's the best writing. I mean, I think Kendrick Lamar is the best writer since I don't know, you know, for a long time. And then also musically with what's happening, it just was just like everything from like experimental, classical being mixed up with everything. It's, I don't know. I expect there's also going to be a whole burst of entirely new sounding bands and artists very soon. You know, I feel like it's like the ground is so fertile for reinvention of all kinds of these genres. And I mean, we're a rock and roll band or something, or an indie rock band, according to the various, you know, record store folders that we've been in. We used to be an alt country, but all that stuff is just a soup of labels. So I don't think most artists overthink it, you know.
There's time for one last question. And since I want to hear Scott's voice, I'm going to ask it directly to you. And talking about labels, there was a time in the mid-2000s, I don't know how you refer to the last decade, I just say 2000s. Yeah, the odds, yes, they say the odds. Where this was this term that I found it really funny, but I don't know if it has any meaning anymore. What do you think indie rock means, or is just a label?
Well, I think it's become a label for, I guess, what used to be alternative in our minds or something. I mean, there's industry reasons for naming radio and that, but I think, I don't know, it's just sort of a catch-all for music released on independent labels.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I think with the death, well, not total death, but the decline of terrestrial radio, which requires like a format, you know what I mean? The sort of the labels and the genres, I think, respond by saying, you know what, like, fuck it, we're gonna mix everything together. Everything's fragmenting, you know what I mean? It's like indie rock, to me, it's more like a cultural, political kind of term than a musical one. I prefer alternative, but that's my 2 cents. Sorry. Matt wants to speak.
I prefer brunchcore, and that's. And but now with the decline of basically the entire brunchcore community, like it is, we do feel a little bit untethered and lost creatively.
I mean, brunchcore is definitely coming back. You have my word on that. Guys, thank you so much for talking with Radio Sonar and have a great show, really. Thank you guys. Hasta que termine la transmisión, damas y caballeros, muchas gracias por unirse en el Facebook de Sonar FM.